I've listened to the new album, well, the debut album. Obviously, I've got a few questions about the album, obviously about you guys as a band. But am I right in saying that all the tracks on this album, it's all new stuff? You didn't use anything from previous. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah. So all brand new.
And what was the reasoning for that? So you've got some cracking songs before that you released, but obviously, why have you gone down this path? Because most bands would say, right, debut album, use all the best tracks, what's gone out before, and put it on. But what was the the reasoning to do this? Because it's quite, I speak to bands all the time, and it's quite unheard of, let's just say, for a band to do that.
I guess we wanted the album to feel really cohesive, and it felt like the stuff we were writing at that point felt like it would work together on an album, and the earlier stuff didn't feel as relevant to put on within the context of the new songs.
It's quite a nice treat as well for people who've been waiting for it for a long time to have like a whole album full of stuff that hasn't been heard before, I guess.
And did you record it in Chippenham? Is that right?
We did a month of writing before in Chippenham, where I grew up, and then went to Dan Carey's studio in London in July.
Okay. The only reason I asked the Chippenham, my brother lives in Chippenham, so I know it quite well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Don't ask me which part, but I know it's the west part. As if you're heading towards Bath, the part of Chippenham. I know it's nowhere near, but I look up on a map. You got Chippenham there west, and that's all I know. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So with the band, then you probably get asked this question all the time. It's quite hard to pigeonhole the band. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got so much wonderful noise going on. You saw all the instruments, which is fantastic. But for me, I think I joked with PR yesterday. I said, it's not joked, but said I think it's a mashup between, say, Black Grape and Aphex Twin. Sometimes, you know what I mean?
Nice.
Love that. That's a new one. I really like that.
Yeah. That's great.
You like that as well. So it's just is, and you experiment with music, but you seem to you just put it on there. It's like a live session and it goes on there. I don't know. It's just you're a fantastic live band, but you must have so much fun in the studio thinking, will this work? Do you just go off on a tangent? Is that what's happened sometimes?
Yeah, quite a lot. I think it's usually just record what we can live, and then spend days kind of putting as much stuff on it as we want. Using Dan Carey's toys in his studio is always the best part of recording, I think.
So how long did it take to record this album? Was it over the whole month? Was it, or when you wrote to write it? Sorry, then obviously
we were with Dan for 4 weeks, but probably the first week and a half, 2 weeks was when all the live tracking had been done. And like Ollie said, we kind of had week 3, which was like the experimental week, and then week 4 was just kind of mixing and like little odd bits. Also, we did the strings and the horns quite late on as well. We had a couple of days for those in week 3 or 4.
And when you said the experimental week, can you talk me through that? That just I can imagine it, but I'd rather hear from you both, your voice. What did it entail? Obviously, what did you try and you think this is not going to work, or then you surprised yourselves and it did work, and then you're thinking you wanted something in there, and then you're like, it just didn't sound right, and you got pissed off. Was that the case sometimes? Or?
There's a video I've got of this big spring on the roof of Dan's studio, and at one point Dan got really excited and was like, yeah, let's use the spring. And I've got this video of Arthur hitting it with a triangle beater, and he was hitting it so hard and it was hooked up to like some weird ass reverb that like the spring just fell off and like hit him in the face. And I think like that's partly part of the recording that's on like narrator somewhere near the end. Yeah, that's probably what I take away from experimental week the longest.
What about you, Ollie?
There was, I wasn't really involved with it, but there was the sound at the start of GSK is Arthur and Dan again. Arthur always seems to be in these kind of experimental stories. Him and Dan were going around trying to find the perfect piece of metal to hit with a beater for the sound at the start of GSK, and it I think it ended up being Dan took off the metal plating on his massive mixing desk and used that to make that sound. So yeah, it's just a lot of hitting metal. It's quite macho, really.
just bashing the shit out to make as much loud noise as possible and see what sounds. I mean, you can see the comparison to say Aphex Twin, I guess, when I was talking earlier. You know, and so so musically, then, I mean, who inspires you both? And I mean, over the years, what's been your sort of go-to to, you know, maybe lead you down the path of, you know, becoming musicians, but also whilst musicians to write this album? You know, who's been your inspirations? Both of you.
Probably maybe Robert Wyatt, I'd say, is pretty good inspiration for his songwriting, and like his I guess like approach to writing politically to some extent, but also writing songs that sound experimental and like have kind of strange timbres, but that definitely are recognizably his, and not so experimental that they get pigeonholed into a certain genre of experimental music. Like they're still very accessible, I guess.
Yeah, Robert Wyatt for me as well, and been listening to a lot more jazz. I think mainly through you, Laurie, really. Listening to some freakier jazz kind of albums. Been listening to loads of hip hop as well. I think that's
okay.
Yeah, really getting back into hip hop again. I really love that new Madlib album that came out. That's really good.
Do you think you'll obviously bring that into any future sort of tracks, any hip hop sort of? Or...
Well, there's a couple of tracks we're working on at the moment that feel quite hip hoppy to some extent. Whether that means we're gonna invite a few rappers on, I don't know. But it's definitely something.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, we've mentioned.
Okay. The Bristol trip hop sound.
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool, actually. But no, on the album, I mean, I like paddling. I just think it's to me it stands out. I mean, it's probably the usual question you get asked. I mean, what sort of tracks on the album do stand out for you both? It's like, I know it's a boring question to ask, but obviously it might lead down to some path where you might give me something, I don't know, hilarious or not hilarious. I don't
know. My favorite track is Global Groove, because it's just it's very sinister and quite a lot different to what we've put up before. I think it's a kind of a nice left turn for us, I think.
Yeah, I really like 2010. I think when we wrote it, we got into quite a nice kind of like, it was basically just a rhythm that Arthur really enjoyed, and we all started repeating it and got quite into this like headspace where we were just playing this rhythm for like 3 or 4 hours one evening in Margate, and some really nice harmony came out from it. It feels like something I could listen to for a while.
And I mean, what do you want fans to take from this album? You know, is it some sort of, you know, is there sort of any sort of, I don't know, can't think of the word, aim to, you know, inspire them, you know, musically thinking this is the path, the band? I mean, have you found your fit, I guess, with your sound, or I mean, I know you experiment through and through, but with your fans, have you sort of taken them on a journey, I guess, with this album, then you're going to go to somewhere completely different on the next album?
Yeah, I think like one of the reasons why we decided to put all new tracks on the album was to kind of show that you know, we could do a wide array of things, and kind of be a bit more than a kind of, you know, shouty post-punk band, or while that's still kind of still there in some respects. I think it's nice to show kind of different sides of what we can do, I guess. Statement of intent, I think.
Yeah. So it's political then, in a way. You politicize some of the songs, or
Yeah, a little bit, but I kind of come to realize that that like anything is political in some way. Yeah. Try not to be too on the nose with it, I guess. But yeah.
So the message is, I guess, to enjoy the music, but don't go and trash somewhere else.
Exactly.
That's what I was leading to with our previous sort of long question.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I mean, I've seen the videos of you when you're live. I mean, Jesus, it takes me back to a lot when I'm a lot older than you guys, a lot older. I know I only look about 25, but I'm a lot older. But I remember in the 90s, you know, the post-punk and even, you know, the craziness, and watching you guys play live, it takes me back. And it's just, I wouldn't say it's just musical chaos. Do you know what I mean? It's not in a good way. You've got so much going on. The band interact with the audience massively. The audience massively interact with the band, and you bounce off them. So when you're playing live, do you have like a set list, or do you sort of then think, well, we're going to just put this one in because the crowd of, you know, they're on a journey, you know, they're all up and up. So do you sort of then think, well, we're going to just not have a set list and just feel the audience and feel what they want to listen to?
I think maybe every so often, but generally we've got a fair set list, but the sets aren't made for like a whole tour. It'll be like per show, usually in the green room before when we write the set. And I think that part of that is because having a feel for the space that we're in often dictates the kind of set we want to do. Yeah, just in terms of like, I don't know, even if it is literally just in terms of like the size of the space, sometimes dictating having much more spacious sounding songs.
And I've got to ask you, Ollie, how do you find the singing and playing the drums? Because I've spoken to bands before, and I know other members of bands have said they started off with the drums, but they became the vocalists, and because they couldn't handle both. How the hell do you manage it, man? Because it's just it's not mesmerizing. Well, it is mesmerizing, but it knocks me out. I'm thinking, how the hell are you doing all that and then singing? Because it's quite rare. I mean, it is, as you know, but how do you cope with it? How do you manage it?
I don't really know. I kind of it's all I've kind of done in a band, really. So I don't really know any different. I got to the point with guitar when I was when I was a teenager, where I could manage to sing and play guitar at the same time, but I find the idea of that like incredibly hard, because I don't know, it's just kind of came quite naturally to me, I guess. It's a good workout as well, kind of for someone who really doesn't do any exercise whatsoever. It keeps me in check.
Fair enough, yeah. Like I say, I can see you the videos, you're just banging away, and then the noise is amazing. But then obviously you're singing as well too. You're just thinking, how the hell? But you must be shattered after every. I mean, I don't know what. Maybe you're drinking some sort of special Lucozade. I don't know, but you know.
He saves that for Glastonbury.
Oh yeah. But I could see you guys on the main stage at Glastonbury. I really can. I just think it would be completely bloody mental, and it would be, you know, one of the best live performances Glastonbury would ever see. You know, I hope you get there. You know, I do, because that's the aim.
Very much.
But live, yeah, and being local lads as well. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you're not too far from Glastonbury, being in Bristol, in a way. So But I was going to ask you then. So what was your journey then to become a musician? Once you left school, was it something? I mean, obviously I've done a bit of research, but I just want to ask you, what was your journey from school to becoming musicians?
Well, kind of just fell into it. I guess we all went to university in Brighton,
Okay.
and then finished that, and then you have that year where you kind of do weird, odd jobs and try and figure out what you want to do. So me and Laurie worked in rival curry houses for a bit.
Really?
In Brighton, yeah.
What were you delivering the food, or were you just working behind the counter or whatever?
I was in the kitchen, the delivery kitchen downstairs. And were you waiting, Ollie? Were you in the kitchen as well? I can't remember.
I was at the train station kiosk.
So very fancy roles we both had.
Yeah. Yeah, and then just Louis and I moved to London, and we started, meeting people, and because it's quite easy to do that in London, I guess.
Yeah.
Started going to gigs and playing gigs in London, and then met our managers. Yeah, it was all just very, very organic, and definitely weren't seeking it out. It kind of just happened, which was really nice.
That is really nice, because I know a lot of people, they would want to see this and read this, whatever. They take inspiration from bands that made it, and to hear yours journey was quite organic. You didn't really go out and sort of banging down on doors, whatever. They came to you, which is proves, the proof is in the pudding. Your music is that good. Do you know what I mean? You're as a band. So you I won't say you're lucky. You don't need luck. You've got the skills, the talent.
Oh, thanks.
But it's you obviously still want to explode even higher, internationally and all the rest. And once normality resumes, I mean, you've got some sort of gigs lined up that we could sort of promote, or is anything penciled in? I know the album's obviously out soon.
Yeah, we've got tours in September and October, which are definitely, well, fingers crossed, definitely happening. Yeah. And then trying to sort out a socially distanced tour a bit earlier, in not maybe like June, and then another one in July. So yeah, probably be quite a busy summer if everything goes to plan. But yeah,
I just can't imagine though a socially distanced concert for you guys, because of that's where I was going. I apologize for the long-winded questions. I'm probably listening to Julie Holly Brewer and talk radio too much, but that's what I'm saying, because obviously the socially distanced, you know what I mean, you it's like taking the piss, isn't it? Putting Squid in a socially distanced concert, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm feeling it's going to be quite interesting. But then I remember seeing Square Pusher when I was at a seated gig in Brighton. And not that I'm saying our level of intensity will be anything like Square Pusher, but it was still definitely like one of the best gigs of my life. And hopefully we can like capture some energy, even though people are going to be sitting down and like distance from each other.
Yeah, it's just madness. I mean, the only good thing is they get to see you guys on the stage creating that music, and but they can't do anything. Oh, it's just chaos. Mad times, guys, mad times. So how have you been then around lockdown? What's and obviously you did the album a while back, and so what have you been up to, to kick back, well, not to kick back, but what's been normality for you guys for the last few months?
Just been writing loads of new music, which has been nice. Got a permanent studio space in Bristol, so we're just kind of cracking on with it while we're not on tour and using the time wisely, I guess.
And have you been doing a lot of, I don't know how it works, but you've been doing a lot of Zoom chats or phone chats, or getting into these bubble malarkey stuff, whatever it's called, where you guys can meet up in the studios. That's been quite fortunate that you three of you in Bristol and you've been able to do that, and the other guys who are not in Bristol, has it been a lot of Zoom videos?
Yeah, we've been managing to meet up, all 5 of us.
Okay.
Which is nice. But yeah, lots of Wednesday morning Zoom calls. That's the date for it.
And Monday morning lateral flow tests.
Oh, you just got to make it up, could you? It's just lateral flow test. Oh man. I've got one last question then, guys. I'm just trying to think. Who's the? I mean, obviously fans will probably know, but who's the craziest member of the band? And who, and with a story to connect to that question, you know, what's the answer?
Whoa. Who are we gonna drop in it though?
There's always laughing already, so I'm sure he's pissing himself laughing. Is it you? No, is it you, Ollie?
God no.
Should we drop Louis in it?
Yeah, go on.
But I'm trying to think of a story.
There's too many.
There's too many. Yeah.
Louis.
Is he the Keith Moon of the band?
Yeah, maybe.
Anything non-incriminating, as in non-criminal. You know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
There was one night where we went back to Dan Carey's studio quite late, and Louis was so pissed that he just played Lord of the Rings theme tunes on the piano all night, and to the point where we all got really annoyed at him because he wouldn't even talk to us. He'd just play the Lord of the Rings theme tune on the piano until about 4 a.m. Yeah.
How did you get him off it?
I don't think we did.
Yeah, he's a force to be reckoned with when he's got Lord of the Rings and some keys in front of his hands.
Is he?
Yeah.
You have to tell him then when you're seeing this. I spoke to this new show being filmed in New Zealand, Amazon Prime, Lord of the Rings. It's like a series, whatever, and it's going to be on a par with Game of Thrones. And I spoke to a famous Welsh actress yesterday. She's playing the young version of Galad. I can't remember. I've only seen it once, but it's like a young version of Galadriel or something or whatever. But
yeah.
I spoke to her yesterday, so that's coming out. So once he sees that, it may give him, to more tunes to pick up and play for you guys when he's
nice. Yeah. Is Peter Jackson making a new score for it?
I don't think it's Pete Jackson involved in it. They've got others, but it will be the music, but obviously there'll be a new score. I'm sure there will be, because Amazon are pumping like billions into it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so we should get in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right then, guys. I think they told me I had 25 minutes, so I've just got 25 minutes. So it's been great talking to you, and I mean I really do want to come see you live. And I mean that because I just think it's an experience, isn't it? And I've experienced it from watching the videos, on the YouTube or whatever and everything. And I just think, as a live band, I think you're up there with one of the best.
Thanks very much.
Cheers. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
okay. No one.
Cheers,
thank you. Guys. Yeah.
Cheers,
Thanks,
Carl.
I'll
take it easy,
See you later, mate.
Thank you, man. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.